Morning and welcome to Really Helpful Club, and we are going live with our In Conversation series, and my name is Sarah Austin. So we run this series every single week, and the whole point of it is to shine the spotlight on different business owners, entrepreneurs, leading experts in their field. And I'm going to be talking to Denise Murphy, and Denise of Wimbledon HR Dept, which is all about providing local businesses with a wide range of HR services and support. So, perfect timing there, Denise. Just done a very, very short summary about who's coming on as my guest and what the name of your business is. But Denise, welcome on board.
Thank you, Sarah. How are you this morning?
Good, really well, beautiful. Getting sunnier morning, so things are looking up, and I was just explaining that this is our In Conversation series. I absolutely love this series, and I know you've watched some of our recent interviews and stuff. And I think you are my 45th interviewee, which is great news. Welcome, actually welcome. We've got loads of people coming on, which is great news this morning. And the whole point of this series is to get to know you, the person behind the business. Often people know what the business does and they know what they provide and all that stuff and things. But actually this is all about peeling off those layers of the onion, understanding the person behind the business, the journey, how they've got there, and then why they're doing what they're doing. Because actually we all know that business is all about relationships and all about connecting and trusting the person that you want to do business with. And I think it's really important, particularly in your case, where you're working, uniquely with small and medium-sized businesses. So, without stealing any of your thunder, I want to welcome you to our series and look forward to hearing from you. And as I always say, I think that someone's journey is every bit as interesting as the destination. And I know we've only had a couple of words from you now, but we've already got that beautiful melodic and sort of lyrical accent that's coming through. But Denise, tell us about your journey. I'm looking forward to hearing this.
Hi, Sarah. Yes. So, yes, as you can imagine, my accent doesn't depict from London. So, yeah, I'm Irish. I grew up in the countryside in a small town in Killarney, and hard work and good ethics was instilled with me for a very young age. And also, I was always interested in people. I did an undergraduate initially in business marketing, and I went traveling and realized maybe marketing wasn't my forte. And I went back and I did a postgraduate when I returned to Ireland in HRM. And I've been doing that for now 17 years. And I must say that I truly did find my passion. So I worked primarily in Ireland in HR, in meat manufacturing and hospitality. And I came to London 10 years ago. And up until July of last year, I worked in King's University Services Company in the HR department there. And I always kind of said I'd like to venture into HR consultancy on my own. So I looked at it early last year, whether I'd go independent or whether I'd have a franchise behind me. And I chose to go with the franchise of the HR Dept. And I launched my business in July of last year, and I work with SMEs in Wimbledon and New Malden, supporting them in all their HR aspects.
Fantastic. And there's lots you sort of shared in that, which I think is so interesting. I love the way you pronounce your hometown, by the way. I'm not even going to attempt to do that, but it's a beautiful accent. So you are very welcome. And but I think we've had lots of our guests who we had Sue Drew on last week, and Sue's journey, without wishing to try and sort of summarize her words for her, is where she had gone from a professional background, then she'd taken a career break, and then she had pursued some other dreams, but she had this burning desire and this sort of, I think, this draw towards nutrition, and has now launched her business around that. What is so interesting, I think, with you is that you are a professional. You worked in a professional firm. HR is, I don't think you can quite say it's in your blood, but HR is what you do.
Yes,
so
exactly.
You're very good at managing people and managing those services around HR, which, as we all know, has become immensely important in the last 1, 2, 3 decades. And so but you've gone down that route of, look, this is something that you really love and enjoy, and you've built up all that corporate experience, but then you took that leap to launch your own business and through a franchise. And I guess I do think we've had a franchisee on before, so maybe you can talk us through the process of what drew you to taking out a franchise rather than starting up your own brand, and I guess what was that inspiration? Where did you get that courage and that drive to take that leap, and to step away from that corporate infrastructure?
Yeah, so HR, obviously there's a lot of legality to it, and you might have come across the same situation 100 times, but there's new people involved, so there's always going to be something new that comes aboard. So why I went with the HR Dept and the franchise is because we are a very, very collaborative network of 70 plus franchisees in the UK and Ireland, and any situation or any question, whether big or small, one of us will have some other little nuggets to add to it, and we're always learning from each other and supporting each other. So that's why I really wanted a franchise or a network like that in my profession, as opposed to going independent. And that's exactly what I found with the HR Dept. We just had our national conference there Monday and Tuesday, where we all met up in Reading, and it was great to have those conversations in person. We predominantly meet each other online and stuff like that, so it's great. And yeah, that's exactly why I went out with them, and I haven't looked back.
It's really interesting because I guess from again, kind of both sides of a lens, as it were, from a client's perspective, you get all that kind of flexibility and nimbleness that comes with dealing with the owner, the manager of the business, and that kind of desire to help you as the client. But you also have that feeling of reassurance that you've got a wider umbrella behind you, as you say, in terms of that sort of legal expertise, that wider experience. That means actually, I guess there isn't a problem you can't resolve, and you can tap into that wider network where you've got that shared objective. Basically, you're not trying to compete one another, because you're ring fenced geographically. So I guess I think that's really interesting. So if you are a smaller or medium sized business watching this is I think this is a really sort of interesting differentiating point about your business versus somebody else, and someone else will have come with their own their own sort of version of why one or other is good. But I think that is a really interesting point about it. And actually, just before I ask you my next question, lovely comment here from one of our viewers, from Nick, who says, crucial to get proper and professional HR advice whenever you have an issue. And couldn't agree with you more, Nick. And I think it's not even when you have an issue, actually it's huge amount of companies just don't have the size, the infrastructure, the resources to have their own HR department. So it's not even issues. Actually, it's making sure that you've got best practice, good practice, the right protocols in place. So you never necessarily even get to those issues. But you're quite right, Nick. When you have an issue that arises, you need to have a Denise Murphy in your speed dial to be able to go to. So tell us a little bit more about the services that you offer, and I guess through the lens of, if I'm an owner or running a division of a small and medium-sized company, why would I come to you?
Yeah, so we're the HR department for their company. Maybe, as you said already, they don't have somebody in house, or maybe they have somebody in the office who's dealing with the HR issues for them. We can for them fully, whereby we fully support. We're at the end of an email and telephone daily, answering and supporting them on their HR issues, and we put in place all their documentation, like their policies and their handbooks, and we guide them, support them, mentor them through the processes. We find that business owners, people managers, aren't natural HR people managers, and be that person that they can be reassured of the knowledge and the expertise and the sound advice that they require when they're dealing with their employees.
It's really interesting, that, isn't it? Because again, I guess as a business grows, it sort of starts usually with an entrepreneur who has an idea, and they go from proof of concept to turning it into a business to growing it, and then taking that leap and taking to the next stage, which comes with all sorts of responsibilities and requirements and protocols, as you've said, and that may not necessarily be their natural skill. But then as we all know, and as I've discovered during the course of this series, as an owner manager, you have to be a jack of all trades, because that's just the way it is, and especially when you start a business from literally from inception and grow it into a bigger state. So, and I guess that's where you come in. So I guess what size typically would you be coming in to help a business?
It varies. Startups, as you said, so anybody with one employee to anybody up to 250 or anything in between is the people I can support. It's very important to have the protocols and the procedures in place, so we assist with that. And then obviously having that ongoing relationship where they're comfortable in their HR knowledge and they can focus on the other aspects of the business that they're more naturally skilled towards.
Exactly. And again, if I think about business, there's a real common thread that's coming through this series, and it's what I'm finding so fascinating about it is, in my mind, you're taking the stress out of HR stuff. You need to get that HR stuff done, but and when it comes along, it's really stressful. It's really time consuming. Distracts you from what you like doing, which is the services you're providing, or the health support, whatever it is you're giving to your clients. But you need to get this stuff done, and that's where you kick in. And I think that is incredibly helpful. And so I guess actually we've got quite a few people watching, which is lovely. If you have come across Denise, either in her former life, working in a corporate world, or now as a standalone, running her own business as a part of the franchise network, please pop a comment in. It's lovely to hear your experience of Denise, and we just hear amazing feedback about you, Denise, which is wonderful to hear. And but also maybe you want to ask a question. Now, what I guess you might want to put it sort of generically about some of the issues you're coming across, but I guess it's interesting. This is your chance to, I guess, ask the HR expert. This is your opportunity. What would you do in this scenario? Or I guess to ask about some of the issues that Denise has confronted in the last few months. And what do you think, Denise, makes HR Dept different? I mean, we've touched on the franchise bit, but what do you think is different about what you offer compared with, say, someone else out there?
Yeah, as I say, we're local. We want to be personal. We're also maintaining professionalism, but we get to know our clients. We get to know the cultures within their organizations, and we want to be their extra arm in their business to support them in all things, whether it's with performance management, helping with training and development, or whether it's the more other areas of HR, like disciplinary grievances. We want to be their person to go to, and we are that. And we've been told that time and time again that we are their go-to person. They feel like we are part of the team, not this external body, because we know our clients very well. And that's why we're geographically based as well, because we want to be close to our clients.
Absolutely. And I get that. It's the more you understand the business, the more able you are to solve the problem, because you get it, together with that amazing expertise going on in the background. Now, look, I know you started your business only 10 months ago. And of course, we were to a degree emerging out of lockdown, depending on which sort of part of the lens you're looking at it. But what are your experiences in terms of starting a business, I guess, at that point in lockdown, and some of the issues that you've come across?
Yeah, it was an interesting time. My family, friends, and colleagues were telling me, "Really, now you're going to start your business?" In a lot of ways, I thought HR was exposed in a very positive manner throughout the pandemic, because we were never more recognised, because there was furlough, everything people was being affected. So I said, yeah, I think it's probably one of the best times to do it. And so I had mixed emotions myself about doing it at that point. But it was the 1st of July 2021, and I could see the wood from the trees. So there was a way out of the pandemic. But it was from those first initial days, it was all online networking, and even my client meetings were all online. And people obviously wanted to move away from that a bit, because as you said earlier, HR is a very personal service. So that personal connection is key as well. So now I'm seeing a big move into meeting people face to face, whether it be the client or my network groups. And that is great as well, you know, so that they're the differences I've seen.
Absolutely. And I guess it's, I mean, it is early days, but what do you find is the most rewarding part so far?
Actually, just recently, a business owner literally breathed a sigh of relief when he was worrying about this particular people issue, and I just said, "It's okay, we've got this," and he literally did breathe a sigh of relief in front of me. So, that's what I love about my job. I can reassure people that, you know, people do worry about situations when it comes to when they're employees, and they naturally dwell on it. And
Yeah.
I don't want to see some business owner being stressed because of a people situation. I want every business owner to breathe a sigh of relief when they've got me on their team and say, "We've got this." And that's my reward every day, and that's why I do what I do, basically.
And again, it comes back to that point about taking the stress out, and you are helping to take that stress out of something which is, you know, which is really, it's easy, it's solvable from your lens, but
Yeah.
from theirs it becomes that all-consuming thing. You know, it's almost like you know, for those people who are parents, when there's something nagging away with your child, it actually dominates everything else, doesn't it? And it's very hard to see the greater picture, and to, you know, to sort the wood from the trees. And I guess that's where you come in. You
Absolutely.
are allowing them to carry on doing what they're really good at, and but to help them bust through that issue. So I think that de-stressing thing, again, just shouldn't be underestimated, and particularly given, you know, some of the storm clouds that we're facing, you know, as an economy, and you know, right now as well. I think that's, you know, shouldn't be underestimated. So again, early stage, but I think it's really interesting to hear from someone who has only launched their business, you know, in the last year. Is, what advice would you give to someone who's thinking about starting their business? And I don't just mean in that, you know, in that sort of HR space, but actually more widely,
Yeah.
given your own experience. You know, if you were a year ago, what would you be, you know, saying? Hey, Denise, this is what you need to know.
Yeah, I think the main thing that has really stood to me is getting to know your networks, your tribe very early on. Like the Merton Chamber of Commerce, the Really Helpful Club, other networks that I have now been involved with have been invaluable to me, because I've met people who are like myself, small business owners who just want to make a crust on a day-to-day basis and make a difference in whatever field they're in. And we just want to help each other out. And what I would say to anybody who is thinking about launching it, those networks, build those up quickly, get to know who's in your tribe. And if there is somebody out there who is thinking about setting up or has set up and just needs a bit of support, or is a day going, "Why did I do this?" If they ever want to talk to me, please do, because it is worth it in the end. I know that there are days that are tough, but it's those networks that'll stand to you, and get to know those very quickly.
Well, I thank you very much for mentioning Really Helpful Club there, and delighted that you mentioned that, but also Merton Chamber of Commerce as well. And I think these local chambers are really important in terms
Very.
of, you know, connecting the different businesses together. And, you know, and Really Helpful Club, we're really there to help people right from that startup point, you know, from that concept, that desire to do something, that, you know, finding those light bulb moments, and then how you actually find that courage to take that first leap. And what we know is, you know, our great mantra at Really Help the Club is that courage comes before confidence. And of course, you know, you can take on the world, you can challenge everything if you've got the confidence, but you've got to somehow take that courageous step and do it. So, and I think, you know, particularly in your case, Denise, I mean, I watched you right from sort of day one, coming into these networks, you know, collaborating with us that Really Help the Club, and the stuff you're doing with the chamber as well, and absolutely putting that foot forward and taking that leap, and, you know, and taking that courageous step. And I think that really needs, you know, to be applauded, and not least, as you you know, we've touched on already, at a time when, you know, we didn't know where we were in terms of the timescale of the pandemic. You know, how could anybody? So, you know, even like sort of double points for launching when you did, and double points for, you know, for the courageous step. And so I hope that gives, you know, anyone that's watching who's at, you know, various stages in their own business journey, even at that sort of startup stage, that, you know, lovely to know that you can contact someone like Denise, and, you know, just sort of sound out what it feels like. And of course, it really helps the club. We are there to help everyone to you know, to take their next step forward in their own journey. So look, you know, this has been an extraordinary time. And, you know, just when we think we're emerging from one challenge, it looks like another challenge comes along. And so here you are, you know, you've survived a year of business, which is fantastic. Congratulations on that. And I know building a fabulous reputation, you know, as a standalone. But if we come back and meet you in a year's time, what do you think Denise Murphy will be telling us then? What's your ambition? 12 even? I don't know. Let's really go for it. 2 years down the track.
Well, yeah, the first 10 months were tough, and I will never hide that fact. But I do hope that I've now broken the back of that difficult patch. I'm not expecting it to be rosy all the time, but I do hope now to build on my success. And from these next works that I've built up, be that person that the business owners within my locality will say, that's sound advice, I'll get there, and being confident in my abilities and just building on my reputation and being that go-to HR person for SMEs within the Wimbledon and New Malden area. That's my ambition, and give business owners that ability of those sighs of reliefs when tricky situations arise.
Well, when we first came on, one of our lovely viewers, and clearly a supporter of what you're doing, said, Denise Murphy is amazing. And we have no doubt, Denise, that you are going to be that go-to resource, and with that depth of knowledge, that wealth of experience, and I think that desire to support. And so thank you so much for joining us this morning. Thank you very much for your time. And thank you to everyone else that's joined us and engaged in the conversation. We always share this straight onto our IGTV channel. We'll then pop that onto our YouTube channel. We'll put it onto the Really Help the Club website, where we took our new branding live just last week. So we're going to pop it on there fairly shortly. And if you've enjoyed this chat with Denise, please don't keep it to yourself. You know, this is too important. You will know people who are running businesses. You'll know people who are running divisions within businesses. And actually, this could be a really, really important resource that they may need to know about, and not know that you can go and access this type of support if you don't have that in-house in your business. So thank you very much you know, for sharing your insights. And Denise, I just want to finish with this, where, you know, seeing a business owner recently literally breathe a sigh of relief when I said, we've got this, I think absolutely encapsulates everything you do and how you help take that stress away for your clients. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for your time, Sarah, and thanks for everybody for joining. Lovely to talk to you.
Thank you. Enjoy your morning.
Thank you. You too.